This is the Fun and Sexy Finance Show, where we talk about all things money, so that you can learn how to make your money work hard for you instead of you working hard for your money. Hi, I'm Susie Fabrocini, and welcome to my show, the Fun and Sexy Finance Show, where we talk about all things money. Today, I have a special treat for you. I'm inviting you to listen in to a fun and sexy conversation that I had recently with my good friend, the hot money relationship expert, Connie Sands. Connie's a coach and mentor who helps women to have exciting and fulfilling relationships with their money. So we talk today about hot money relationships and moneygasms.
A moneygasm is just an orgasmic money experience, where you feel so good that you did this thing, off the charts, off the charts feel good,
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah. Because money, size matters with money. Money has to have staying power.
Boom, right?
And that leads to moneygasms. So, we've all been around the block. We all know what feels good, and we want more of it. I thought, I want to have as much fun. I think people think about learning about money as something that's a drudge and, that's boring and everything. But I thought, when you get just so freaking excited, if you had like a return on your money from an investment or from, whatever that doubled your money. I mean, is that a moneygasm or what? What makes a woman feel sexy? Your confidence, knowing that you've got bank, knowing that you have options and choices and freedom to do whatever the hell you want to do at the time you want to do it and with whom you want to do it. What else is there? And this is like not a, life is not a dress rehearsal. I'm 74 years old and I can tell you life is not a dress rehearsal. You've got to grab life by the ass right now. There's no waiting. There's two things that happen with money, women and money. And that is they wait and they become indecisive and they're waiting for that external person or situation to happen to them. And they don't realize that they are the energy. They're the power source, not someone else. So, you got to turn on the power. You got to turn on the love light and, let it shine and realize the power that you have. You have a lot more power than you think.
That's so true. And the other thing too is that a lot of times women don't celebrate their money wins because it feels some women feel like it would be crude.
Yeah, we're socialized from being very little girls in certain things, and one of them is the money tradition. And that tradition comes within your family. So if your mother and father modeled or said words to you about, or didn't say words to you about money, some people live in omission. They live in the vacuum of non-money knowledge, non-money. So you're being raised and you're told, just don't bother me about money. Don't ask questions. You're being taken care of. Or in my case, my parents fought about money day and night. It was an ongoing battle. So you tippy-toed around about money. You were in a danger zone. Danger. You don't talk about money. Don't ask about it. And that keeps you in a sense of you don't acknowledge that money is involved in your upbringing. You don't acknowledge that you need to learn about money. You live in this vacuum of thinking that money is only a paycheck and a checking account. That's it. Very small world, very small world. And the years that it takes you to unveil all the information are years that are lost income. You're leaving money on the table left and right without even knowing it. And that's one of my mottos, because I call myself the badass bag lady. Why? Because, we women grow up thinking, oh, I'm scared to be the bag lady eating cat food, whatever, And I thought, I want to turn that upside down. A badass bag lady has bags of cash, bags of savings, bags of paid off mortgages, stocks, bonds, all filled with prosperity. Now you have choices, but you have to know that stocks exist, that bonds exist, that paid off mortgages exist. Right. You have to know that when you go into the candy store, there's not only just one candy, a ton of candy in there.
Well, you also have to understand the concept of growing your money, that the money can grow on its own. It doesn't need you to be working for every dollar.
It's working for you.
Right, exactly.
Money can become your employee. Money becomes your employee. It becomes your servant. It becomes your the relationship that you have with that money. Because one of the things that happens with women is that we don't think about, as far as mindset goes. Again, we get back to the family traditions. What were they? Your parents learned from their parents about money. So now you're living. Or didn't. So, so if your parents learned from their parents, and now you're doing your parents' and grandparents' methodologies, which probably didn't work, you are continuing this family tradition of limitations. Money has so many possibilities, but you have to be able to envision them. Society has formed us to think of ourselves in a very limited, tiny little box about envisioning women with money, and it's antithetical. Women with money? She's a bitch. Cross. She's a gold digger. Damn right. I want all the gold I can get my hands on with no apologies, no embarrassment, no guilt. And that's a hot money relationship. You look at mindset, again, we have money tradition, and then we have money conditions. We're money conditioned by society, again, to play the waiting game, to think small, accept less, settle, always put yourself last. You must be the giver of everything to everyone else, whether that's your spouse, your children. Are we falling short by not training our children more effectively about money, very specifically? And yet, money is so emotional. Money is so emotional that parents think that by teaching their children, my parents, it was taboo. You did not ask. I did not know anything about my mother's money. I didn't know anything about my father's money. We just couldn't know. It was a secret. And people get very secretive about money. I mean, you can ask women about their sex life. You went out with this hot guy. I want to know all the details. You went to bed with him. How was it? Whatever. Ask them about money.
Oh, yeah.
Offended. They're offended, more offended than if you ask them about their sex life. They're not offended about telling you about oh, he was hot. His body is so cool. I love it. Whatever. He had some great moves. Ask them about money.
And we'll be right back after this word from our sponsor.
So money mindset has to do with, looking at your own family history. I call it your money genealogy. What did mom do? What did dad do? What did those ancestors do? And some of them, they lived through the Depression. So they were either gave up or very conservative and really tried to conserve their money. My parents were excellent savers. They just were not excellent sharers with each other. They never shared their money. They did not trust each other with their money. So they never pooled their money. And I think, gosh, if you guys had pooled your money and made money decisions together, what might have happened?
Really hard thing to do. Especially if you have two people with very different ideas about what money is for and how you should use it. Because you'll get a couple where one person feels like money is for rewarding yourself because it's earned, and so it's for rewarding, and the other one thinks that money is for building. And so you have a real conflict of interest there. So how do you handle that?
That's absolutely correct. And I think that one of the things, I have this thing called the Singleness Factor, because, one of the things that we're again conditioned to and tradition to is that once you meet Mr. Golden Boy, and he's the one, you don't want to take any of the romance away by discussing money with them, right? Take the romance away. It would not be sexy to discuss money with them. And yet, that is where 52% of first marriages fail. And one of the biggest contributors to that is their lack of meeting with the money they don't meet. They don't have, they don't take the time. I always feel like people should take do a mock money marriage ceremony.
Oh, what's that? Tell me about that.
Yeah, I just feel like couples should meet, and you have an officiant who is a finance person who's going to ask them, do you take this person who likes to spend? They feel like it's a reward. And are you willing to accept this guy over here who is extremely conservative and wouldn't part with a nickel if the house was on fire? Are you willing to accept that? And again, are you going to? Yes, it's going to take away from the romanticism. How afraid of you? How afraid of that are you? Are you that afraid of losing this person? Because you've already lost them. If you're that afraid to discuss this very, very powerful subject that is so rampant with emotion, because if you think your emotions are offended if somebody asks you about your money, like, oh, it's Susie, how much money you got in the bank? How many investments have you got? Give me a figure. I want to know everything about Susie.
I'm happy to share that myself, because I'm trying to change the mindset of women who feel like it's rude to talk about money. And because they feel that way, we don't learn from each other's mistakes. We don't learn from each other's wins. And so we're at a real big disadvantage to, like, the men who are good with they're fine with bragging about what they did with their bonus, or what they've got set aside, or what their plans are. And women just tend to pull back, and they don't want to talk about it because it's rude, or it's embarrassing, or they don't want to hurt somebody's feelings if they have more money, or they're ashamed or embarrassed if they have less. And that is, I think, really holds us back. And I think that from culture to culture, it's different. Because what I noticed in my experience is that Chinese women are more willing to talk about money. They will tell you how much money they make. They'll tell you how much their husbands make, and their sons and their daughters. And do you know that China puts out more self-made women billionaires than any other country? Way more than everybody else.
I'm from Mexico, and so my grandmother and my aunts, they hustled, they sold things, they did everything they could to build whatever wealth they could. And I mean, you're talking about China and Mexico, there's no safety net. There's no, there's nobody going to catch you and feed you if you don't scramble and get up every day and work your butt off. There's, and these women know their money. They know about where their money is, where their money's going. They feel absolutely not embarrassed to go out there and to the market and bargain for the best deal. And keep their eyes open for opportunities, and then jump on them when those opportunities come, not holding back whatsoever. These women from third world countries, I find, have more power and use it better than women in the United States. We are, and we're taught to be humble. Well, yeah, you can be polite and courteous. You don't have to be like humiliated that you have money. Right. You don't have to be humble and not take advantage of opportunities, that come before you. But you also have to know that you have to train yourself to recognize those opportunities. Sometimes we're so blind to the opportunities that are ahead of us that we don't recognize them. And you have to have a money vision. I say, hey, money mind, money vision, money voice. And then the rest of your body is the money passion. You're not going to put up with anything that's going to stand in your way of having what you were put on this earth to get. There's no limits on that. Only limits are within our minds. So one of the things that I see in this intersection between emotion and mindset is that you get frozen. You freeze up. And like you're trying to tell women, hey, share, about your victories. And there isn't a woman that I know, who doesn't have a story, multiple stories about winning, losing. We are problem solvers. Women have, a recovery rate of 98%. We cry, we laugh, and then we drag ourselves up, and then we go and fix the freaking problem that is in front of us. And we have to do it. Women like me, I was a single mom. Raising 2 kids, got no money from either dad. And I had to figure it out. And it was extremely stressful, but I have 2 kids that are very good. They're successful. They're good. The village helped me, my parents and everybody. But women lay down and give up before they've even started. I think that's in the money game. Mm-hmm. Let's put it this way. I knew another lady who ran a temp agency in San Francisco. Met her through E-Women's Network. And I was talking about how women don't ask for more, don't ask from the beginning. They set their salary way too low. She goes, I provide executive admins to high-tech companies that pay a lot of money. She goes, but women will get laid off from one place. They'll come to me and I'll say, well, I have a position. What is your salary requirement? She says, this woman came to me, she was earning $75,000 a year as an admin there in San Francisco area. She goes, so I asked her, well, what would you like for your next salary? She goes, I don't know, maybe 72K. She goes, she just reduced her salary by all this money. And I thought, this is what drives me crazy, because I think, okay, did your landlord reduce their rate? Did your grocer reduce their rate? Did your child care provider reduce their rate? What the heck are you doing? And she had asked me, she says, you need to come and talk to my people. She says, these women are coming in and asking for less. And she goes, as the employer, I can't tell them that they are undercutting themselves so much and starting for so much less.
I think too, there's a problem with women not wanting to negotiate.
Yes.
They're afraid of negotiation.
I really think that, with negotiation is such a loaded word. It's a fear-based word almost. It's a very masculine word. And words have masculine and feminine energies. Mm-hmm. But I think that women need training in okay, let's not call it negotiation. Let's just call it the outrageous ask.
Yeah.
Let's ask, ask. And even if you say no, you won because you asked. You overcame something fearful in you. And having done that, you can do it again and again and again. What is it that you want for your life? So mindset includes, knowing, getting rid of all the negative self-talk that you've been taught, opening up the horizon, knowing that you don't have any limits, not really. The limits that you have are your own. Opening up your mind to learning new facts and new ways to do things, strategies, and things. They don't have to be difficult, but you have to do them. Just put them in motion. That's all. And then when you're ready, you can put the next part in motion. But you have to just start one little place. And I think that is something that we think that we have to do the whole thing at once, when you can just take bite-size, learning, bite-size action, bite-size expanding of your life, and falling in love with your life. That's what it is. Falling in love. You fall in love with your life, you're going to want the best for your life.
And you have a quiz.
I do. I have a hot money quiz, and I would invite all of you to come in, take the hot money quiz. It'll tell you all about your money archetype, because all of us have one. And it's a good starting place for you to know your style best and then work with that style. You don't have to change your style. You have to improve it and make it better. So take the Hot Money Quiz at www.hotmoneyquiz.com, and you're going to love it. It's going to be a lot of fun, and you'll find out something more about yourself.
Ah, that sounds great. I can't wait to take the Hot Money Quiz myself.
All right.
Oh, Connie, it's been such a delight and a pleasure. I thank you so much for taking the time to talk today and share your wealth of information and your point of view. It's really enriching for the rest of us.
Thank you so much. It's been a joy and a pleasure. And, hot money relationship. Here's to yours.
Thank you.
Here. Thank you so much.
And that's it for today's show. See you next time.